Welcome to Supergood Podcast. We are on. So today we have on the homie, the super talented Jourdan. Is it Kadow or Kadow?
Kadow.
I always wanted Kadow. So Jourdan is a stylist out here in Los Angeles. Jourdan, you and I first met probably like a year ago. We were working on a super big photo, video, commercial, social shoot that Jourdan did. And
in Chicago? That was the first one, right?
Yeah, Chicago. Wait, so it actually was was that in 2000? Was that last year? Or was that in 2016?
No.
No. Okay.
It's been a year.
Okay.
Just barely, it's just
so it was
been a
like
year.
in November or something. But anyways, since then, Jourdan's been one of Nike's Jourdan's go-to stylists. He's been popping off. Yeah. So I think we should start by, what are you up to right now? I know you guys just walked off of a video shoot.
Yes.
We got Reeves here, who I'm sure we'll have on in the future.
Yeah. Well, I was just in New York for the month with 3 Jourdan campaigns. And then I got home, got my wisdom teeth out. And then my first day back was today. We had a video shoot for Reeves Jr. and his first single, Happy Blunt Day. So we just did that today. And now I'm back.
I'm sure by the time this comes out, that video might be awesome. Shit.
Yeah. Jump right back into it.
Mm-hmm. But other than that, we're just working with Reeves a lot, doing creative direction. He's dropped a project, so I'm doing a lot of like creative content, socials, video, photo shoots, networking, all of that.
So what is your actual job title? You have one, or is there one?
Definitely like wardrobe stylist, and then I've been doing a lot more creative direction. So I'm styling as well as like coming up with the shoot, coming up with the concept, set design, or working with other people, like kind of directing them on what I want to see in the shoot or video, whatever the case may be. And then I'm also I've been starting to do music management, which is totally something I'm learning as we speak. So that's a new job title.
That's cool. I didn't know that.
But I do everything.
Yeah,
that's literally new as of me getting home from New York.
And how does it work because we only work together on these larger photo and video shoots. How does it work when you're styling for a specific person for events? Is it the same kind of thing?
No, it's way different. So that is more personal, more one-on-one. If I'm creating their style or their aesthetic, then that's but I don't know. Most artists kind of already have an aesthetic when I come in, so I kind of have to just enhance that. So that's just me shopping for them, getting their everyday looks, and then getting their events. If they're a musician, videos, performances, all of that. It just kind of depends who the person is. Every single job styling is different. I've never had the same job or same experience.
Are they all equally challenging?
Some are better than others.
Yeah. I just
it's
you and Mary.
It's a lot.
What you guys have to do on some of these shoots, because they're not. These clothes don't just appear. They have to go.
Yeah, people don't understand that.
Especially when we're shooting in a different city, and she has to establish relationships with these other brands and companies. And if there isn't one, go out and reach out and create all those relationships within a matter of days, and then actually get the clothes, move the clothes, sort the clothes, create looks. And then after everyone's done and goes home, they're often still returning a lot of shit.
Yeah, so it's a lot of people think that, oh, these clothes are here. Oh my gosh, this is so cool, so glamorous. You have all these designer clothes. You have, or just whatever, shoes and accessories. But it's I can do a video shoot today, but I've been prepping 3 days for that, and then I'm gonna shoot. Then the shoot day comes, and then I takes like 2 or 3 days to do returns. And then if I'm double booked, then I'm doing that for 2 different jobs. And it is a lot. And I think I didn't even realize that when I first started.
Yeah.
That was definitely like, whoa, this is a lot of work. It's real work too. It's like physically going out, driving. I drive all day long. Pulling, shopping, returning, shooting.
So let me ask you this. So like when you're watching, you know, I watch like the behind the scenes, the day-to-day with Wiz or whatever, and he's getting ready for a video shoot and they got the racks of the clothes out. What is the process? So like, you're working with brands and they want you to use their stuff for that video? I mean, I guess I just don't understand the process as much.
Yes.
But like these clothes aren't all these people's clothes.
No.
And
No,
so,
most of them.
And then it's like you're just borrowing the stuff, I guess, for the shoot.
Essentially. So, okay, so this is where it gets hard. So, like I said, every single job is different. So, like, if I was working with Wiz, he's very well known. Like, he has a huge following. Has huge shows, whatever. So, brands want you to put that shirt on him for his show or his music video. So, they're willing to let us borrow it for that and then return it. If the artist wants to buy it, most of the time that's a go. They can just buy it or they'll gift it. So it'll be like gifted, blah, 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 thanks for the, or you could tag and get a gift, like it'll be gifted. Or just the fact like, oh, you wore it in your video, thanks so much, you can have it. Like, but every artist is different. It's more difficult working with someone on the come up. Like more of my passion projects, like even just Reeves, like a lot of brands, they don't know him yet. Like, so I have to really establish, like, you have to trust me, like, show, like, his creative, show the mood board, show what we're working on, like, this is going to be a really cool project, like, please let me hold these clothes.
Right.
But if not, then it comes out of my pocket, or this budget comes in, all that stuff.
So it's more dealing and wheeling initially.
So in the very beginning, the most important thing is to keep these relationships. Because then if I'm working with someone bigger and I always pull from this place, they're going to be more lenient to be like, hey, I know your next client probably isn't as big, but hey, you can still pull from us. We know you return. It always is smooth. You should never want to ruin those relationships or burn bridges with these brands or PR. A lot of it comes from PR companies who carry a bunch of brands. So you go in, you can pull from 10 different brands.
Got it.
And now PR is doing their job at getting those brands out on these influencers, artists, etc.
Yeah. How often is it these PR brands? So like the second guy compared to like directly to and like you're directly to. Is that a big business?
The
company?
PR.
Yeah, like holding the brands. And you just go. So you don't deal at all with the sometimes you don't
designer.
deal with it. Yeah.
Unless you really only deal with the designer when you have a really big client and you're doing like red carpet, you're doing like more personal tailoring or getting a custom piece for a specific like Met Gala or something like that. Like, and then the designer is really hands-on. But other than that, it's usually PR. Or I mean, you can reach out to a brand, but they have like someone in the office that's just dealing with polls and stylists. Right. They're not like.
And the bigger the brand, the harder it's going to be to get a hold of somebody, I'm assuming.
For when you have a big client, it's not as hard. It's more so getting those brands on your smaller clients.
Got it.
All right. So before we go too deep, I think we should take a step back, and because I know your story kind of, but Zeke doesn't know, and I'm sure many people who are listening or will be listening do not know either. So just take us back. From what I know, you were a collegiate volleyball player.
Yep.
How did that turn into this?
Yeah, that's crazy.
What school did you go to?
Okay, so graduated high school at San Clemente High School. And then my grades like went really bad junior year. And like I was this huge athlete, blah, blah, blah. I was like, I'm good, I'm gonna go D1. But they don't tell you like, no, you have to have the grades too. It's not just like how good you are.
Yeah.
And so I ended up, my grades slipped junior year and I was not able to go to these D1 schools. My whole team went D1. I was the only one that just kind of like fell. I don't even know. It was ridiculous. But so then I was so upset, so bummed. I quit. I didn't want to play anymore. I was just going to go to a junior college and transfer out and just like be a student. And I think when I went to Saddleback College, which is a junior college, it's a really good one, but started there and I was just a student. And the team kept coming up to me, coaches wanting me to play. They found out I was like going there but not playing, so everyone was questioning like, why are you not playing, blah, blah, blah. So I ended up trying out, or kind of, I guess, whatever, made the team, became the captain, and then we played this #1 national, like, other junior college called Pierce in LA, and they were so good. They were like 80-0. They never lost, like, in years. They're so amazing. So then I realized, damn, I really want to play. Like, I want to go there first and then transfer because they get all the looks because they were like #1. They have the best players from all over the place. So I emailed the coach. He said, I already had you on my clipboard. Like, we have an apartment. Come up. Like, we'll start you ASAP. So quit, moved to LA, like playing there. And then I had a bad accident in the weight room. It was a freak accident. Both my shoulders like dislocated and I tore one of them and couldn't play anymore.
What were you doing?
Bench press.
Yeah.
I went like this and went all the way back. Yeah.
Where's your spotter?
Exactly. So that was like that was a whole other thing. Like there was so much wrong with the whole situation. So I couldn't play anymore unless I got surgery, and by that time the season was over and I was my second year of junior college, so I needed to transfer.
Right.
So my grades were finally good. I could transfer. I went to Cal State LA. I just didn't play. And this is my first time being a student, like a real student, no sports. So I was like, oh shit, what am I going to study? I don't even know anything. So stupid. So I went into the art. I did art major. So I thought that was going to be like my easy way, like just get through. And then they had a fashion merchandising program. Joined that. I wasn't really into it at all, actually. And then this girl, one of my really good friends growing up, her older sister was in the industry. She was a big makeup artist, still is. She had tagged me in this big celebrity stylist. I don't know if I could say names on here, but
It's up to you.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No. So I worked for this celebrity backtrack. This makeup artist, she tagged me in this stylist Instagram. I knew nothing about style. I knew nothing about any of this industry. I didn't know that was a real thing. And she was like looking for interns. So my friend tagged me under her post, and she DM'd me saying, "Hey, email me your resume." I'm like, I don't even have one. Like I work at 2 restaurant jobs and go to college. Like I don't have anything. And so I just told her, look, I work 2 restaurant jobs. I'm a really hard worker. I played volleyball my whole life and softball. Like I could just, I don't know, figure it out. And she said, I want to meet you tomorrow. Yeah, well, she was looking for an intern, which eventually would go into assisting. So she said, I want to meet you tomorrow. I was like, oh my God, are you freaking kidding me? So I met her the next day. She's like, oh my God, this is great, perfect, you're good. So I worked with her for like 6 months for free. No one told me you should work for some other stylists if you're working for free, because then you can get a bunch of information. So definitely, for those listening, work for as many people as you can while interning, just so, because everyone does styling different. Like every stylist I've since worked with since then has been different, and I've learned something from every single one, good and bad.
Yeah.
So started assisting. Well, first intern, then worked my way into assisting. Started assisting some other celebrity stylists, and I just can't. I'm not someone to like have a boss. I just don't think I hate being told what to do, bossed around. Like a lot of bitch work, which, I mean, you have to do it, and I had to do it, and I understand that, but some people are good at being assistants, like, and like it. I met some assistants that assisted they're like, yeah, it's like my 7th year. I'm like, what? I literally could never do that. So then it became kind of a competition, honestly, and I just literally was like, I could do this by myself. So I just kept all the emails, kept all my network. I reached out to a bunch of photographers that were like my age who just started doing photography, and I just kept begging them, please let me style your test shoot, just use my own closet, put some outfits together on their little models.
You were a senior in college at this point?
No, I was a junior.
Okay.
Essentially a junior.
So this was your first year at
Cal State LA.
Got it.
And so I'm going to school. I work the night shifts at the restaurant, and then would assist, assist and start doing my own shoots on my off days. So, you can go to school like Monday, Wednesday.
Right.
I would do Tuesday, Thursday, weekends. I would set up my own test shoots with photographers, build my website, and then I just, honestly, people always say, like, how do you get booked? My experience is all word of mouth and reference, which I think I'm so grateful for. I think that's great because I love referring people and like telling people about other people. So I think that's definitely a plus. It just grew like really fast, randomly.
Yeah. Before we move on from that, I think there's a good point there where, a lot of people do question, because I think word of mouth is a huge part of it, but I think people question like, yeah, well, how do I get people to start talking about me without, where do I start? How do I get to that point where somebody's actually willing to put their neck out? And so what you said is that you used the word begging, whoever you could.
Yeah.
And I think that that's something we shouldn't rush past, because that's something that is the separator between people who succeed and people who have all intentions to succeed but can't find that way to force to do something uncomfortable. Definitely. So I guess what?
I mean, I've always been I feel like if you're gonna be freelance or take that jump to follow your dream and whatever it is, you have to stick your neck out there. And for me, it was just talking to everyone. Like when I wasn't even a stylist, I hadn't done one shoot. People would say oh no, what are you doing? What do you do in LA? What do you do? I mean, I'm not gonna be like, oh, I go to school. I literally said, oh, I'm a stylist. They'd be like, oh my gosh, can I see your work? And I literally would just be like, here, I'll show you my Pinterest. This is all the stuff I'm into. So I saved a bunch of boards, menswear, women's wear, stuff I would do for red carpet if I could do it. So I would just show people oh, this, I could so do this. I actually have a dress like this if you want to do it for a shoot. So I just really finessed everything that I was doing and just telling people please, I could really do this. And then I would make it happen. That's another thing though. You have to actually do it and do it at a level where people trust you, I think. Because there's been shoots or things that I've done where I just didn't put my all into it and you really could tell. And I'm like, damn, if I really took that shoot the next level, it would have been different.
So the internship, did the internship with that stylist, for people listening, is doing an internship worth it? Or is it more or less worth it because you got to network and you were able to make something happen from that? I don't know.
I think while I was interning, I could definitely say I didn't like it. I actually remember, but then again, I also was doing so much. I was in school, had to work at a restaurant. So I don't come, my parents weren't really supporting me. I had to pay everything financially myself. And I feel like living in LA at that age is just stressful anyway. And I didn't like it. I did not like interning. I really didn't, because I think interns do so much real work, so much work. And I feel like it just, I don't know, I just feel like it was a lot of getting taken advantage of. And I was figuring everything out by myself. There were so many times where I'm like, what am I even getting from this? I'm figuring out what I don't want to be. I'm figuring out, I'm getting these connections to these, I'm going to these showrooms and stuff, but like no one has ever sat down and been like, hey, just so you know, like this is how you write up a proper email to pull clothes. I have figured out everything by myself. Like I feel like this industry, styling and fashion, is very petty and catty, and no one really wants you to surpass them. Like the stylist I'm working with, it was hard for me to assist because it's not, I'm sitting there helping you create this amazing thing, and it's like, one, there's no credit involved, it's like I want to do something. It was hard for me as a creative to just assist, but I guess I did learn what I did like in a stylist and what I didn't like, and how I was going to be a boss to other people, and I guess like the showrooms and how you learn how it works, but it's, I don't know, it wasn't for me.
This will give you like the base structure.
Yeah.
But I guess, I mean, it goes twofold, because I guess maybe situational, depending on who you're working
situational,
with.
because I know girls, or even I know guys too, that assist and love it and get so much out of it, and the people they work for are so hands-on. If they can't make it to the job, they'll tell their assistant, hey, like you can have this job, pass jobs on to them, where they're like getting their feet wet. And like, I don't know, I just think my experience as an assistant and intern just wasn't that. It was a lot of me figuring it out, a lot of me being frustrated, a lot of me like just having to do everything by myself.
And when you say that,
but then again, that's probably because that's the type of person I am. I don't like help, and I don't like people like doing a lot of things for me. So that's honestly probably self-inflicted.
well, and also like when I hear that, I think like what I hear is all of the do it yourself and figure it out yourself. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's formative learning. So maybe that's even helped you get further ahead.
Yeah.
Rather than having someone tell you what, this, you gotta do this, you gotta do this. You're having to figure it out, and you're figuring out what you do like and what you don't like, and maybe that helped you in the end. But I'm just wondering for like people in this industry, like, is an internship necessary or not? But really,
I mean, I think it is.
The base structure.
I think it is. I think definitely start interning, do assisting, because assisting, that will help you like pay the bills. That's like paid work. And it's, the stylist is trusting you more, and like you're building those relationships, so that is definitely good. And I mean, I love my assistants, and like I just try to treat them like how I wish I was treated in situations. So I feel like my situation with my assistants is way different than what I was when I was assistant.
Right. So what he was getting to after the internship, when you were saying, you're begging people, what does that actually mean? What platforms were you reaching out to? Were you reaching out on social media? Or?
Yeah, so social media. So I would honestly probably DM, there was a time that I would DM 15 to 20 people a day. Every night before bed, I would DM athletes, influencers, people with a bunch of followers. Hey, if you're any stylist. Hey, if you're any stylist. Like, I would always reach out, and if I even got one response, I was like, that is one more than, because you think, like, who's really going to read this? Who's, like, you just never know. And, I mean, even, like, this is just a side note, like, I remember DMing Antonio Brown on the Steelers. He read it and didn't respond. I'm like, damn. Ouch.
You just saw this as seen.
1 year later, he responded and said, hey, I need a stylist. Like, are you still in LA? And that was like one of my biggest clients at that moment. And I had no like big clients or anything. I'm just like, oh my God.
Crazy.
That's crazy that he remembered the DM. Like, you literally just never know. And you just have to really stick your neck out there. It's crazy.
Yeah. I think we should talk about Instagram as a tool.
Oh my gosh.
And like just how it exists in the freelance world, in the creative world, and just in LA in general. Like, you brought it up first, and you talked about how that was your first opportunity. You were tagging Instagram posts. And then now when you're trying to branch out, like that was your means of communication and begging. And then how does it take part in your work now and the way you collaborate with creatives?
I mean, it definitely it's kind of like in your face that I could see what this, like, say it's a photographer, I can see a bunch of their work right then and there and be like, oh my gosh, I love it. Or maybe it's not the best fit with me and my style and like my vision. So I think now it's more so, before I would work with anyone and anything. Like, it sounds really desperate, and I think maybe I was, like, because I this is another thing. A lot of people who assist right now, like, they're getting a lot of plugs. They are getting, like, they're in it, like, backstage. They're with these celebrity clients. They're getting these relationships and being trusted by their team. I had to gain people's trust. Like, people had to really, like, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know where I'm really going with this, but I just think I was just thinking about this the other night. Like,
So how did you do that? How did you compare to the assistant who's getting plugged in with everybody?
know.
How were you able to gain
I think it's
trust?
my personality, honestly. I remember when I met Cordell, Broadus, Snoop's son. That was like my first everyday client. I literally made his outfits every day, and we did fashion week. We like did a bunch of stuff. So when I first met him, I was so real and upfront with him and myself that he was just like, wow, like, you're not asking me for anything. You're not like needing anything from me. Like, you're just so cool. Like, what do you do? Like, what? And I told him, oh, I'm a stylist. He's like, we gotta do something. Like, so I think my personality is definitely, people can just tell I'm genuine and laid back. I'm not, I don't know, not trying to be. There's people who just want to be a stylist just to get around these people, or just try to assist so they could get like around these people. And I was just always myself, and
Yeah.
I think that was definitely gains people's trust.
That's like the golden rule. Like, just be yourself,
Yeah.
and you'll get a lot further rather than having some type of,
I think that's a good sentiment too. Like, I mean, I always noticed that about you. You're real, and all of the cool stuff that's going on, it doesn't necessarily faze you, which I think is important. You're going up the ranks, but moving into establishing trust and figuring out who to trust. I think we've talked about this before in New York, but in a world that, like you say, can be petty and fake and inauthentic, like, how do you, when you are gauging someone else's intent, how do you like determine whether or not to connect with that person or like further try to work with them? Because I think that's something that we all deal with, and like I deal with for sure.
I mean, there's definitely people that I don't work with anymore because of that. And it's like, it comes down to, like, yeah, you may have a lot of followers and this is like a good look for me, but if it's not there, it's not there. Like, it's hard. I think in this, especially dressing someone, which is so personal already, if it's not there and it's not gonna work. It just will not go any further. And you could try and fake it, and it's just, I mean, there's been clients that I love, and you just know it just off the bat, it's so cool. And then there's clients where I'm just like, this is not, either I'm not digging their personality, or I don't really see what the hype is, and that stuff throws me off, because it's like, I don't really care about your clout or what, like, at this point, I just need to create, and if you believe in my vision and I believe in yours, we're great. If it's off, it's gonna be off. And I think I am so real with myself that I'm able to see that very early when working with people.
Mm-hmm. It's a crazy thing with any like business relationship, because the initial step is, all right, let me just trust this person. And if you can vibe with someone a couple times, and then the true colors don't come out until later on.
Very true.
And especially in the entertainment industry, in this industry where everyone is just trying to get ahead, like, people will take advantage of you.
Oh, 100%.
And I've learned that myself, even the hard way. And so I guess, what would you say to somebody in this industry, and even you, Sterling, like, how do you navigate those waters for someone who's just starting to get into it and coming out of college and everyone was always nice to them and everyone was always, they trusted all their friends, and then you come into this industry where it's cutthroat.
Oh my God.
It's real shit out there. So like what advice do you have to those people who are getting into the entertainment business and just seems like it's a little savage sometimes?
Get the strap. No, I'm just kidding.
Get the strap.
No, I don't even know. Oh God.
I feel like it took me well over a year just to figure out how the industry was shaped. Like I was already in it before I moved, came here, was working for an agency, doing whatever I had to do to make it happen. Still wasn't doing what I wanted to do, but it took me a year just to figure out that like you said, when somebody's asking you, what are you doing in LA? You're not saying I'm going to college, you're saying I'm a stylist. And it took me a year to figure out, even though I was already shooting, that I just had to tell people that I was a cinematographer. Mm-hmm. And like kind of speak things into existence, but it's definitely a learning process, or at least it was in my perspective, my experience.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess it's not really a fair question, but let me ask it this way.
But I would say for someone coming in, don't think that you have to like compromise who you are just to make these people happy, to go above and beyond for these people just because you may think, oh my God, if I don't, they're going to ruin me. If I don't, they're going to make or break my career. If I don't, they're going to badmouth me to all their friends who have 1 million followers. And I remember when I stopped working for a stylist once, like I really thought, oh my gosh, she's gonna ruin my whole career. And I remember I was working in a restaurant at the time, and the chef looked at me, and he is like well respected in his own industry, and that's a whole industry, being an executive chef. He just looked at me and he's like, who is she? Who is that? I don't know her. Like, what is she gonna do to you? Like, I'm just like, damn, okay, you're right. Like, no matter what. And that was me leaving that behind and going into my own business and starting to do stuff myself. And I just had to trust the fact that no matter who you work with, no matter how big these people are, we're all human and we're all in this same freaking boat. There's always going to be someone bigger, better, faster, stronger, but you have to just keep pushing.
Right.
Dope soundbite.
It was. And honestly, it's like stepping out of that box. Like once you realize you can step out of your box and the other side, like it's okay. Yeah. And like everything in that box is good, but it's not the end all be all.
Oh my God.
Then it opens your eyes to like so much more. And I feel like people are in this industry so worried about like what someone can do or this and that. I mean, even bringing it to the craziest cases of like Harvey Weinstein and shit. Like, people literally are shit is going down to like get a position, get a job, or get here or get there. So it's
crazy.
Like it's interesting. But yeah, I think like you said, just don't compromise.
Never.
Don't compromise for who you are and kind of don't worry about the followers. Don't worry about all that shit, and it will come. That's kind of been our philosophy. It's like, I'm not, maybe it will help if someone's got a bunch of followers. We have them on the podcast. Great. If we get something like that, cool. But like, just being natural, being ourselves, like bring our own energy to it, and ultimately it will do its own thing. You know what I mean? We can't rely on other people's followers. Just like you can't rely on this one stylist. Like you got to go out and do your own shit. So I think that's a good.
Well, it's just like she said, just focusing on creating.
Right. Mm-hmm. That's been our problem a lot. Like not our problem, but like we get so caught up in the behind the scenes stuff of business and what to do and who to have on and do this and that, and it's like that's all good to have, but in the end, you just got to do. Mm-hmm. You just got to start it. And once we actually started creating and started this podcast, everything has went so much smoother. Mm-hmm. Everything has been so much easier, and it's natural. And it's like once you start creating, everything kind of falls into place. I feel like so.
So where are you at now? I mean, we're obviously talking about just create, but like, are you focused on one particular part of what you've got going on, or like is it kind of whatever comes your way at the time, or?
I think before, like I said, I was definitely like, oh my gosh, I have to do this job, bending over backwards, no budget, but getting 20 looks for someone, like going under, losing a couple $1,000s of my own money because I'm over here thinking I have to do this because you're going to tag me in a post or this is going to be a good look for me. And I feel like now I've been through enough and seen enough that I'm kind of not like picking and choosing what I want to be on, but I have a little bit more like awareness, self-respect, kind of, I'm on my feet. I have a little bit of name for myself where I'm not taking everything that comes at me. And if you don't have a budget and you could potentially like, I don't know, like fuck up my day because of all the shit you need and you're not up, you can't pay or you don't have the resources or the means to like, of my worth, then I'm not doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And just because you're going to tag me in a post or you're this or you need this, blah, 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 I just can't go. And I feel like I'm now being able to do that and say, hey, sorry, maybe the next one, or this one's not going to work out for me. Before I would literally say, yeah, I'll do it, and be bawling my eyes out because I just broke my back for something that it's not even like, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, that's got to be liberating.
Yeah, finally.
And cool for people to hear, because so many people have to do that.
Yeah, it's crazy. You just think you have to do it, and you really don't. I mean, I guess me saying yes to all those things, even if it does bite you in the ass later, like, you at least learn that, and I feel like you have to go through those things in order to get to this place to say no to some of these jobs or these requests and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like now I definitely am focusing more on creating what I'm passionate about and what I know is going to be amazing, more so than something I don't believe in. Yeah, maybe it is a good paycheck and whatever, but it's not showing what I'm capable of. Like, doing a shoot for Grey Goose maybe isn't aligning with what, like, I don't know. But then I just produced and created this whole shoot with Reeves, which I look at, there's no budget, and I did put my own money forward, and I could literally say it's some of my best work I have on my website.
Yeah.
More so than these paid jobs that, I don't know. So I think I'm just picking and choosing what I want to be a part of, and I think I want to take it to the next level. I want to do more than just styling. I want to do more creative direction, and yeah.
I think getting to the point of being able to pick and choose is everybody's goal,
Mm-hmm.
and
I'm not even really there. Like,
right.
I'm just starting to kind of like
be able to do that. But you had to go through all this other shit
yeah.
in order to get there.
Yeah.
Like, it's never an easy road. You know what I mean? If you're doing it right, I feel like.
And I don't think styling will ever get easier for me. I feel like the jobs will just get more rewarding, and the work is always going to be there. It's always going to be hard, and I know that, and I know it's going to even get crazier. It's going to be so crazy at one point when I have 5 clients, 2 of them are A-listers, going to yeah, I'm gonna have crazy all these assistants, and I'm ready for that next step. I know it's gonna be like that, and I still want to go.
So, how do you get to that next step? What steps are you taking now to get to that next point? Obviously, you're getting into the music side, which honestly, after what I'm hearing, it sounds like it's perfect correlation because of the network you already have. And then we're talking about, styling shoots and photography, so I think that kind of goes hand in hand. But yeah, I'm just interested in what are some of the moves, I guess.
I mean, so I definitely think, like, when I create some work that I like and I put out, that is seen. The right people see that. So lately I've been getting these bigger clients or bigger platforms. Like, I was able to style ALINA BARAZ for Coachella this year, and it's like, how many go at Coachella, how many being backstage with all the people that are performing, blah, blah, blah. Like, just being able to say, oh, I did Coachella, or oh, I did CHANTEL JEFFRIES for the drop of her first single ever. Like, now that she's a DJ. Like, I've been getting these random jobs that are kind of like setting me up for the next big artists, or getting an artist and being able to go with them all the way through. I think that is me establishing these relationships. As these people get bigger, I get bigger. Like, me styling Reeves now is my like passion, and I don't know, but he could then all of a sudden blow up and go to the MTV Music Awards, and I'm right there with him. So I think it's really relationships.
You're gonna bring her to the MTV Music Awards?
That was like so corny, but I'm just saying, like, you just never know. It's you just never know who's looking and who sees it and who is gonna want me or who.
So connecting yourself with the right people. So it really sounds like networking is always the relationship, but keeping yourself connected and growing individual relationships that ultimately can help both people. And I think that's how you really get ahead in any industry, is when you have a team of people or other people who are doing like-minded things, and you guys grow together, because more people are going to see your stuff, more people are going to, you know what I mean? So just putting yourself around the right people, which sounds like you're doing. I have one question for people who don't know, like me. I know for you, I know it's different, but like, how do you get paid? Like, how in this industry, you want to get in this, you want to make money. Do you have a day rate? Do you have, is it per job, or like how does it work for somebody who's wondering?
It's a day rate, unless you can go on salary if you're with someone like every day. Like, some people would prefer going on salary. But for me, as of right now, it's more so day rates, job to job basis.
Just freelance, same concept.
I'm not, I'm kind of, right now, I kind of have someone I'm interested in managing me. Or my agent, I guess. But other than that, it's just me.
So what's the pinnacle of fashion stylist, I guess? I mean, you own your own business, you have your own maybe agency of people. Like, what's in your head? I mean, there never will be a pinnacle, but looking far ahead right now.
I mean, well, like, that is a hard one.
If you can't answer it, then it probably means your head's in the right place and you're just focused.
Right.
I mean, I feel like my career so far, I've only been doing this 2 years, and I feel like I've done so much in 2 years that me in my head is like, oh my God, I want to style the Met Gala. I could style the Met Gala next year.
Right.
So like, that is a pinnacle, like, as a stylist, being able to style a look for that. But I'm like preparing that it's next year.
Right.
So then it's like, what the hell is in 5 years?
Right.
Like, I don't know.
Right.
I don't know.
We've had the same conversation, because I think a lot of people in our situation, it's, we're constantly moving forward and it's go, go, go. But you said this to me once, like, it's not bad to have an ultimate goal. Like, it seems like I want, one thing at a time, Met Gala, then this and that. But like, it's not bad to have, like, I want to own my own business and have it be worth $100 million. But it just seems so far away. And for people like us who are always moving, it's like we're going in the right direction. But it's just something to think about. Like, what can you see yourself doing? You don't have to answer it right now. You know what I mean? But
I mean, definitely having like my own business, my own team that I have like every day with me, working in the office and doing. I really am so personal, and I am so big on relationships that I see myself getting one or two like huge clients that are aligned with my vision, like we're totally on the same page, and either they're artists or actors, actresses, whatever the case may be, that they're on their scale, that it aligns with me as well. Like, I believe in what they believe in, or like, I want something like that. I think that is like, would be so cool to have like a long-term relationship where I'm able to style someone through all of everything that they do.
Right.
And really believing in them and them believing in me and constantly evolving. Like, I think the people who work with Beyonce, I think that would be so cool to start with Destiny's Child. Like, her stylist started with Destiny's Child and is still working with her, and being able to just come up with these concepts. Like, I want to be on that scale where I'm creating the wave. I'm creating the trend. I'm creating these like monumental, I don't know, images or pieces that will literally live on forever. I want to be part of those, whether it's film, music, fashion, whatever.
There it is. Mm-hmm. Just took you a second.
Yeah.
It's, one thing we're kind of figuring out with this is, a lot of podcasts that have people on and who already, have made it in a sense, and they're just having conversation about what they did. But it's refreshing to hear from people who are in the grind and people who are trying to make it. But a lot of times those people and people like you don't take a second to actually sit down and think about what got you where you're at, because you're just on the go. You're on the go.
That's so true. This is like my first face-to-face conversation in so long, like a real conversation. I feel like people don't even talk out here.
No.
We really don't.
I think it's important, because if we're doing anything for you, I mean, and not just for our listeners, but for you, is to like take a second and talk about everything that you've been doing, and then try to realize, what you want to do. Just a moment to reflect, really.
Yeah, this literally makes me want to listen to podcasts. I've like never been into it, but this is so therapeutic. I want to come every week.
Right.
It's the new candle.
It's like,
it's
like
the
therapy kind of.
Orange.
And that's what kind of everyone's been saying. It's just like,
Well, I feel like with social media, let's have this conversation.
Right.
I think with social media, we lose conversation. So, and we're, as creatives, all I'm doing is, I feel like right now, first I got off of, okay, I don't want to post so much. Like, this is getting exhausting. Like, I don't want, social media almost makes you feel like you have to constantly create something, because you have to keep up with the likes and the whatever, all producing all this stuff to show people what you're worth almost. Like, oh shoot, they're posting this video, they're posting this work, they're styling this. Oh my god, I haven't done anything in 2 days. What am I gonna do? I have nothing to post. And that's where I'm at right now. I feel like I'm scrambling, like, oh my god, like I took a week off from my teeth and now I have nothing. And that's so ridiculous. Because some people will spend their whole lifetime and their whole existence creating something. And maybe it never gets acknowledged. And I feel like with social media, we lose conversation and we're just constantly trying to produce something and create. And I don't know, we're kind of losing the relationships and I don't know, kind of this therapy session. Don't you think?
I think there's a lot of pressure, especially when you're social media, you're following people who are really creative people and have the means to put stuff. So I think there's a pressure there, but I think like you said, it doesn't matter in the end, because if you're if you're having real conversations that can help you and you're making money and you're doing real stuff, who gives a fuck what you posted? Post it because you wanted to post it. Yeah. And like even for me, like, I don't have any followers on anything and I want to be creative and I want to put cool stuff up, but like, I want it to look dope and be sweet, but like it's really not for anybody at this point.
Exactly.
I just want my whole page to look dope.
Yeah.
But like there's no rush. But there is a fine line of never posting anything.
Mm-hmm.
And like,
and that's where I'm like, I don't post like every day, but I'm trying to like post stuff that I like and I'm like want people to see.
Yeah. I'm more interested in people's stories, because
what do you mean?
So like your story,
like Instagram story?
Yeah, because that's real
versus post.
Because you're actually showing what you're up to, and it's real, and there's people or whatever.
Yeah. But is it?
It's more okay. Here's the thing: it feels more real for me as a viewer than just an image, because as we all know, I can post anything. I can post every image with money, with cars, and whatever, and you'll think it's mine. It's all perception. It's all images and whatnot. Some people are actually that person and some people are not. Yeah. But I like to actually get to know the person. And I feel like the stories is what, like, my favorite artists, the people I like the best are the people who seem the most real to me.
Are you talking about like when they talk on their story?
Yeah, when they talk or they show, or when they talk, not just talk, but like when they show as well. But like even Sterling, like for me, I'm always really interested in the shoots that I know you can't always be posting.
Yeah, but his stories are always like, he has like the best edits and posts like this cool like moody images. I don't understand.
But it's not about that. It's about seeing
It's
about seeing what he's doing though. So like he'll get on there and be like, hey, I'm in New York, I'm doing this and blah 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 blah. Boom, I feel like I'm with you. You know what I'm saying? So it just the story aspect part of it, like for me as a viewer, I'm more interested in that than like how cool your picture is.
Yeah.
Like actually show me what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
So and you know
I think about that. I never show my face really.
And you know a lot of people don't because they're not comfortable with it. And you know what the craziest thing is, real quick on the story. So I met this girl on Tinder, right? And
That was your first. No, I'm just kidding.
I met this girl on Tinder. And we connected, and I asked to like take her out, and she's like, "I'll just take people out." And this was like Snapchat was more than Instagram at the time. She's like, "Do you have a Snapchat?" And I was like, "Yeah." And so I got her Snapchat, and I instantly, because I'm comfortable, and I instantly was like, "What's up? Like I'm real. Like I'm not a robot. Like I'm a real person." And then she sent me something back, and she told me later on, she's like, "You know, you're one of the first guys ever to actually just send me a video of their face. You'd be so surprised that when I ask people for Snapchat, they stop talking to me, or they'll send me videos, but it's never them." And so it's a different level of confidence.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what ultimately, you know, we have gone on dates and stuff like that. But I think it translates into how your viewers, like if you actually talk to your viewers and they get to know you, it's just a different level.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Rather than just texting.
I never talk.
And you don't, I'm not saying you have to or anything like that, but it's just a different level of connection. You know what I mean? Yeah. So something to think about.
No, I totally agree. I mean, I find myself telling Reeves that. I tell him like, "Oh my gosh, you need to show your personality. You need to show like how cool, like, because I see this person this way or perceive him like this. I'm like, oh my god, everyone needs to see this. But I don't do that to myself. Right. But then I have people like you ask me to be on this podcast. Right. Like, what the hell, me? Like it's kind of like that mentality. Like what? What am I even doing? Like, but everyone else thinks, oh my god, this is so dope. And in my head, it's like, it is so amazing. But we never, I mean, at least me, I never like sit down and be like, damn, like this is so dope. Like enjoy the fact that each step, I feel like enjoying the process is so important.
Right.
Each step, like even if it's a test shoot, oh my god, that was so cool. And then these Jourdan jobs, like, and I think when I was doing my interview with Jourdan, or I was talking to Danusha, I don't even know what I was doing, but Danusha was like, you know that you're the first stylist to ever style a woman's Jourdan shoot. I'm just like, what? Damn, and the shoot was already over, and I'm like, I didn't even like know or even reflect that was a thing.
Right. And
she's like, yeah, you've done like 7 now, like, and you're the first person to ever style a girl. I'm like, wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's a weird.
It's just like little milestones, and we need to like, or at least I do.
Right.
Just need to reflect more on and.
Right. Yeah, it's all relative, and as far as like talking on camera and stuff, I would just say, as long as you're being yourself.
Yeah.
Some people do way too much.
Yeah.
And try to just you can tell when someone's being authentic or not. Like you can tell, you know. So yeah. But shit, no.
Cool. Well, we have a couple of questions that are like really quick that we try to ask every person just to have a good comparison on like, different people's like thoughts, I guess.
Uh-huh.
So I'm gonna rip them real quick. You don't need to go into crazy detail, but the first one is just what do you think the most important habit is for an entrepreneur or a creative habit? Like what's most important? I mean, we've obviously talked about a lot of different things, but does anything resonate?
The heck, so I mean,
yeah, we thought it was easy.
An entrepreneur, I mean, putting yourself out there, like constantly, like putting yourself out there, taking the risk, and being organized.
Organized in what way?
Organized, like I feel like that's something I struggle with, but I really cannot wait till I have an amazing habit of being organized. I feel like once I get that down, I will be so much smoother and so much clearer, and I could really focus on creating and not having all this like, oh my god, this needs that. I mean, as a stylist, we have to deal with so much paperwork, emails, receipts, If once I just organize everything and have that as a habit, my job would be so much easier.
Yeah.
And organized and putting yourself out there.
That's dope. That's cool. Mm-hmm. If there's somebody, let's say that there's a young wannabe stylist listening that, I guess what I want is like, what are your biggest influences I guess in the styling world specifically, or when you were more new to the industry, who did you look to that maybe inspired you to say, I want to be that person, I want to style like that person?
Because I never, well, like I said, like I never was trying to be in this industry. I was never like, I never, like, you know, there's people who go to film to be a stylist, like, or are like assisting these people strategically to do, like, be next to them. Like, I never had anyone like that. I was literally just doing it, and then I loved it, and I just wanted to keep doing it. So I never really like looked at specific like stylists. I was like, oh my gosh, I want to style like her. There's definitely people like stylists I respect and like love their work.
I guess just right now, like, is there anyone that you really are vibing right now? Maybe it's a brand even like that resonates with your kind of styling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. This is a tough one. I mean, I love Sporty and Rich. I mean, what's her name? Emily. I don't know how to say her last name, but she has like, she's created this aesthetic. Oh, I mean, it's obviously been an aesthetic, but she has this whole. Started following on Tumblr a long time ago, and then started following her Instagram, and I follow her personal account. She just like created this thing called Sporty and Rich, and it's just like all these throwback, like sporty aesthetic, but mixed with like beach and luxury and like lavish. It's amazing. You have to guys
Check it out.
Yeah. Sporty and Rich.
Last one is, what's been your most rewarding experience in your work? Has there been any particular moment where you're just like, damn, that was dope?
I mean, I feel like the first Jourdan job was the hardest thing I've ever done so far, and it was my first time traveling for a job by myself in Chicago, never been, and being able to work with like all that talent, and like I think after I was just like, oh my god, that was so amazing, and the client, they were so happy with everything that I was just like, oh, thank God. Like it was the most like relieving, satisfaction. I don't know how to say that, but
yeah, that
was definitely. And because I didn't even think it was real when I got booked on that. Like I had to call people and ask, like, was this a real email? Like I did not believe it. That's like.
Well, and I guess just real quick, going back to Instagram, like you got booked through Instagram, right?
Yeah, that's so.
The creative director found her through Instagram.
Like on the popular page.
So.
It was so weird.
So at the same time, would that be the moment, or maybe before, but is that the same moment where you were like, this is what I want to do forever? Like, I know this is what I want to do now. Or was it before that?
It was definitely before that. I love being on set. I love shooting. And I love putting outfits together. So I definitely loved it before, but I didn't know that I was capable of styling 17 people, 3 looks each, in a different city with all these people I'd never even met before. Like that was very.
I come to her with this huge booklet.
Yeah, and it's just like so many rules and politics and this and that, and I'm just like, what the heck? Like I've never done anything like it, and so I think my first getting that job done was the most like. I think I was just like, damn, I'm gonna go on this one.
All right, I say with that. Jourdan, thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
Yeah, appreciate it.
So fun. I'm coming back next week for my therapy session.
I don't know if you have anything you want to plug or whatever, but now's your opportunity.
Oh my god.
Now's your opportunity. It's all good. I'm going to shout out Miami Meals. If you guys need meal prepping service in Miami, hit up my boy Casey. I'll plug all that stuff. Dope.
Awesome.
I know people in Miami that probably do that.
Yeah? Dope.
There we go.
All right. Cool. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I'm going to turn it